Hey, big fine cases. I've been binging your letters at night after my kid falls asleep, and I kept thinking, no way anything like that happens to regular people. Then last month I did something I swore I'd never do. I spent money I didn't really have on a storage unit, and when the door rolled up, I almost turned around and walked away because it looked like a bad joke. So here's my letter. I'm a single mom. 1 paycheck, 1 kid, 0 buffer. My ex helps when he can, which means he doesn't. I'm the kind of person who counts groceries in my head while I'm still in the aisle. A woman from work kept telling me about auctions, how sometimes you can flip what's inside and breathe for a minute. I laughed it off for weeks, until the week my car insurance and daycare hit at the same time, and I realized I was about to choose which bill gets ignored. The auction was a clearance day, a storage place on the edge of town. Doors stayed shut, photos were blurry, and most of the units looked like straight-up landfill. I told myself I'd just watch. But one listing kept pulling my eyes back. The back wall had these squared-off shapes stacked weirdly, like dark blocks, different sizes, almost like furniture wrapped in shadows. People barely bid on it because it looked heavy and useless. My finger hovered over the bid button, like it was a sin. Someone outbid me at the last second. I went to bed mad at myself for even trying. And then I woke up to an email. Winning bidder declined. Your bid has been approved. I just stared at my phone like it was mocking me. I didn't feel lucky. I felt trapped, because now I had to pay and show up. I didn't have anyone to bring with me. No brother, no boyfriend, no strong friend with a truck. Just me and my little sedan that already made a sad noise when it starts. I got there late afternoon. The manager walked me to the unit with that good luck face people make when they think you're about to regret your whole personality. A couple employees were standing near the hallway and snickering, not even trying to hide it. One of them said, loud enough for me to hear, "Hope you brought a forklift." Another one laughed like I was entertainment. I signed a paper, got the lock cut, and grabbed the roll-up handle. When I pulled the door up, the first thing I saw was metal. Not boxes, not clothes, not junk. Metal, stacked floor to ceiling, safe doors, corners, thick hinges. Then my eyes adjusted and my stomach flipped. It wasn't one safe. It was a whole unit packed with safes. Little handgun safes. Medium home safes, 2 old-school heavy ones with dial locks, a tall modern gun safe that looked like it belonged in a movie, and in the back, half covered by a tarp, was the biggest thing in the unit, a massive vintage safe with peeling paint and a brass emblem like something from an old bank. I just stood there, frozen, thinking, of course, of all the things I could have won. I won the one thing, I can't even move. And then the good employee, the one who hadn't been laughing, walked up behind me and quietly said, "Do you have any idea what you just bought?" The guy's question landed like a warning. I swallowed and said the only honest thing. "I have no idea. I thought it was boxes." He didn't smile. He leaned in, eyes scanning the stacks like he was counting problems. "This isn't normal," he muttered. "People don't abandon this many safes." Then he pointed the biggest one under the tarp. "And that one, that's not a cheap store safe. That's old." The 2 employees who'd been laughing drifted closer, suddenly interested. One of them stepped right up to the doorway like he owned the air. "You sure you want to deal with that?" he said, nodding toward the pile. "Could be stolen. Could be stuff. You know." He made a face like he was doing me a favor by scaring me. My hands were already shaking, but I forced myself to step inside anyway. The smell hit me. Dust, cold metal, and that faint old basement stink like something's been locked up too long. I walked between the stacks, try not to look weak, try not to look like a single mom who couldn't lift half of what she'd bought. Some safes had scratches around the keyholes. A few had sticker residue like they'd been labeled and relabeled. One small safe had a strip of duct tape across it and 4 numbers written in Sharpie. That tape made my stomach drop because it didn't look like storage. It looked like hide. The good employee, quiet one, followed me in and crouched by a medium safe. He ran his fingers along the edges and showed me something. The bolts that anchored it to the floor were missing, but the base had fresh scrape marks. "Someone moved these in and out," he whispered. "Recently." That's when the loud employee behind us suddenly said, "Tell you what, this is going to be a nightmare for you. We can take it off your hands. We'll call it even. You walk away, no fees, no hauling. No fees, no hauling." His voice sounded way too smooth. I stared at him. "Why would you do that?" He shrugged, but his eyes flicked to the vintage safe under the tarp like it was calling his name. "Just being nice." "You're gonna hurt yourself." The quiet employee didn't look up, but he said, very flat, "That's not how it works. She won the unit. It's hers." The loud guy's smile tightened. "I'm just offering." And right then I realized something. They weren't laughing because it was junk. They were laughing because they thought I'd panic and hand it back. I forced myself to breathe, then asked the quiet employee the only thing that mattered. "Can any of these be opened?" He nodded slowly. "Some, yeah, but not here, and not with them hovering." So I did the first smart thing I'd done all week. I stepped back out, pulled my phone out, and started recording. Not a big speech, just a steady shot of the unit number, the open door, the safe stacked inside, and the employees in frame. The loud one noticed immediately. His whole posture changed. "What are you doing?" he snapped. "Protecting myself," I said, voice calm even though my heart was trying to climb out of my throat. "Because I don't know what this is yet." The quiet employee nodded once, like I'd just passed a test. "Good," he said. Then, softer, "Load the small ones first. Get them out before someone decides to get creative." I had no dolly, no truck, just my car. So we started the ugly way, one small safe at a time, muscles burning, metal biting into my palms through my gloves. The quiet employee helped more than he had to, sliding them to the edge, keeping them from tipping. Meanwhile, the loud employee kept suggesting numbers, cash offers, quick deals. Every offer sounded like a trap dressed up as help. And then, as we dragged a small safe toward the light, I heard it, a muffled clink from inside, not the dead thud of an empty box. A clink like jewelry touching metal. I froze with my hands on the handle. The quiet employee froze too. He leaned close to the door seam and whispered, "That one's not empty." Before I could answer, my phone buzzed in my pocket. Unknown number. And when I looked up, the loud employee was staring at my screen like he'd been waiting for it to ring. I didn't answer the unknown number. My thumb hovered. Then I hit silence and slipped the phone back into my pocket like it was hot. The quiet employee caught my face and read it instantly. "Don't pick up," he murmured. "Not here." The loud guy forced a laugh. "Probably the office. They call everybody." But he said it too fast, like he needed me to believe it. We moved quicker after that. The quiet employee wheeled over a busted dolly from the maintenance shed, and we stacked 3 smaller safes onto it like bricks, metal groaning, wheels squealing. I kept filming on and off. Unit number, the hallway, the safes, their faces. Not for drama. For proof. As we rolled the first load to my car, the loud employee followed, still talking. "Look, you're overwhelmed. That's fair. Just sell me the lot and you're done today." I stopped and looked at him. "If it's all junk, why do you want it so bad?" He blinked, just once, and his jaw tightened. He didn't answer. That was enough. We got the small safes into my trunk and back seat, springs complaining under the weight. The bigger ones were impossible for me alone. So the quiet employee made a call to his cousin, who did hauling on weekends. Cash job. No questions. He said, "If you're going to do this, do it clean." 2 hours later, we had the big vintage safe and 2 mid-size modern, ones loaded into a rented truck. Every time metal scraped metal, my nerves jumped. Every time a car slowed near the facility, my stomach folded. Back at my apartment, I didn't bring them inside. I parked the truck nose in, back tight to the wall, and threw a tarp over everything like I was hiding a secret from the sky. Then I locked the truck, locked my car, and sat on my couch with my daughter asleep in the next room, staring at my phone. The unknown number texted at 11:17 p.m. "You opened the wrong door. Put it back." My hands went cold. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I did the only thing that felt safe. I called the quiet employee and played it off like a question. "Do facilities ever contact buyers like this?" He went silent for a second, then said, "No, that's not them." Next morning, we did the smart way. Not a pawn shop, not Facebook Marketplace. We drove the smallest safe to a licensed locksmith with a storefront and cameras, paid for a professional open, and waited like my whole life depended on what came out. The locksmith cracked the first one in 8 minutes. Inside, a velvet pouch, 2 gold rings, and a little zip bag of old coins. Second safe took longer. Tight dial, stubborn bolts. When it finally popped, my lungs forgot how to work. Bundles of cash, vacuum sealed, stacked like books. Third small safe was the reason the text had felt like a thread. A metal briefcase with documents, titles, account statements, and a folder labeled with a name I didn't recognize. No phone number, No address. Just paper that looked expensive to lose. We stopped, took photos, logged everything. The locksmith, seeing my face, quietly said, "If you're worried these were stolen, don't do anything fast." But people hide assets like this, and sometimes they disappear. That afternoon, the quiet employee helped me find something else in the unit paperwork. A lien notice, a last known tenant name, and a note that the tenant was deceased. No family contact listed. No forwarding. Just end of line. So I made a choice I can live with. I kept the valuables we could verify and sell legally. Coins appraised, jewelry documented, cash deposited in small, traceable steps, and I turned the briefcase of documents over to an attorney for proper handling. So if anyone ever came with a real claim, it wouldn't be me alone in the crosshairs. In the end, between the cash, the jewelry, the coins, and selling the empty safes themselves, I cleared enough to wipe my debts, lock in 6 months of rent, and finally breathe without that tight coil in my chest. My daughter didn't get a new life. She got something better, a calm mom, a stable home, and a fridge that didn't scare me. And the unknown number? Never texted again. Big fine cases. Authors note I'm still sitting here thinking about that message and how close this could have gone sideways. If you want the next letter to hit even harder, drop a like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments. Would you have called the cops the moment that text came in, or would you do what she did and move carefully first?